Hey everybody, Florbo Bobby here. Tonight I want to tell you a story. I want to tell you a story of a little girl, 10 years old, starved to death. And then when she died, her body was burnt, put in a garbage bag and thrown in a dumpster by her father and her stepmother. Pay attention for just a few minutes, if you will, and let me tell you a little Imani story. The Gwinnett County Police arrested and charged Iman Moss and Tiffany Moss for the death of their 10-year-old daughter, Imani, in 2013. Police reports showed that Imani was actually starved to death before her body was burned and found in a dumpster in the complex where they lived and where Imani died. Oman Moss pled guilty in 2015 to a sentence that would give him life without the possibility of parole. He pled guilty to every charge. Tiffany Moss has been incarcerated now for 5 years and she's awaiting trial. Well, we've spent $100,000 a year, which comes out to about $500,000 we've spent just taking care of her for 5 years, waiting for court. Well, today's Monday, the 15th, and today her trial begins. Today is the beginning of Moss's trial, and she intends to defend herself. She's charged with 6 counts of murder and concealing a death, as well as 2 counts of felony murder and cruelty to children. She faces the death penalty, people, and she deserves it. The investigation into Imani's death involved a long history of abuse and many missed opportunities to save her by DFACS. Imani's grandmother filed a lawsuit against DFACS, and a DFACS caseworker were unaware of conditions in the home and did nothing. And that's the argument, people. They knew it and they did nothing. DFACS was notified 4 months prior to Imani's death that she was being abused and looked very thin. DFACS did nothing. Imani's school reported to DFACS that she had been abused and had marks on her back. And they opened an investigation, but the caseworker said there were no concerns in this matter, so they closed the case. 2010, Tiffany Moss pled guilty to beating Imani, and the child was returned to her custody after the trial by DFACS. Why? Why turn a child back to the same person that's been beating him? I'm going to get to it in a minute about why it happened that way. In 2012, Imani attempted to run away from home several times. She told police when they found her that she gets tied in a chair and is made to take cold showers. She seldom eats. Police noticed that she was thin and reported the incident to DFACS. DFACS did nothing. After Imani's death, the DFACS intake manager, social service administrator, and a program assistant were fired. These people were directly responsible for dismissing abuse allegations over several years, and they failed little Imani in the worst way. I wonder, how do these people close their eyes and go to sleep at night knowing that their inability to do their job or the refusal to do their job resulted directly in this child's death? They should be held responsible as well. They could have done something and they did nothing. Not for little Imani. Imani's grandmother fought for years to get custody of her, and as fate would have it, Just after Imani's death, her mother received notification that a judge had granted her custody of Imani. So now the grandmother had custody of a grave with a casket and a child inside, burnt to a crisp by her own father and stepmother. This is how it happens. The people employed by DFACS don't care about the job at hand, which is protecting our children. That's what they get paid for. Most are simply there to do as little as possible and collect a paycheck every week. That's all they want. That's the way it works, people, when you get into city, county, and state, federal government. Your job is protected, so do as little as possible and get that paycheck every week. These demons at DFACS are the lowest of the low, and when it comes to doing their job of protecting children, they are the worst. They're too busy to be on the internet or to talk to their friends on the phone or to just gossip and do nothing at all. Imani is now dead and in the ground because her father and her stepmother and many people at DFACS have her blood on their hands. They're actually to blame. The blame sits squarely on DFACS and the ones who did nothing and did not do their job and did not care about little Imani and her safety. DFACS in Georgia is a literal joke, people. They sit on their hands and they do nothing unless it's to get more coffee or to smoke a cigarette or to go back online. Who only knows what they're searching? DFACS in Georgia needs a federal audit. It needs to uncover all the abuse of power and also the neglect of DFACS employees when it comes to our children. Tiffany Moss, in her trial today, she's planning on being her own attorney. She says she's going to depend on God to defend her. Well, I'll tell you people, personally, if there is a God, I hope she means it. Her conviction will be a blessing to each and every one of us who love our children and seek their protection. May God be swift in condemning this animal and avenging little Imani. There was no reason for that little girl to die, people. Department of Family and Children's Services were well aware of the situation, and they did nothing. People in Georgia, this is the kind of people you have working at your DFACS facility. You need to get in touch with your congressman. You need to talk to them. You need to start making phone calls, writing letters. Let's get these low-life scumbags out of our DFACS system. Do it like Trump did with the VA. Clean house. They think they can't be fired. Well, heck, fire them all. There's a whole bunch more standing in the wings looking for a job. Get rid of these low-lifes that ride the dang clock every day and don't do their job to save our children. People, I've said enough. My name's Deplorable Bobby, and this is the way I see it. Pray for our children. Prayer wasn't enough for little Imani. But keep praying. Pray for each other. I'll talk to you later.